night breakdown. We're the Brady Bunch again tonight, folks. We got 6 in, waiting on one more guy to get in next, make 7. We are the 4-Star Sports Show. I am Wes Pruitt. Christian Johnson's over there. John Sturman's down there in the St. Louis beanie. Brandon Bumgardner is up there in the blue shirt. Down in my far left corner, I've got Nathan Wilson, a very good friend of mine. Been on the show the last few weeks with us. Great guest as always. And a new guest we've got tonight is one Mr. Raymond Makita.
Makita, yes.
Yes, sir. All right. I apologize. Thank you very much for being on the show with us tonight. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, I will, Russ. As he mentioned, my name is Ray Makita. I am from Quakertown, Pennsylvania, which is an hour north of Philadelphia. Good friend of Aaron Smith. Avid a Crimson Tide fan. Philadelphia Eagles, anything Philadelphia, you name it.
Well, how did you become an Alabama fan, Ray?
Well, one of my friends went to Alabama as a student, so I've ended up watching a lot of Alabama, at least during the 4 years that he was in college. And I was an Alabama fan way before his time. I only watched it certainly though because of how bad they were back then. But since 2009, when everything turned the right direction, I started to pay more attention, you know?
So when you say you were an Alabama fan prior to Saban getting there, I almost called him something else, to be honest with you. But I got two Alabama fans on tonight, one of which is a pretty good buddy of mine, so I ain't gonna do that. When you say like how far back, like the Francione days, the Bear Bryant, I mean, how far do you go back?
Not honestly Bear Bryant days, but ever since I came to old enough to understand everything and everything like that, so around 2003, 4-ish, around there when they were in a low.
Oh, probation.
Okay, yeah, you were that was what, Mike Shula days? Is that correct?
Around Shula days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, John, do you want to get into a little bit of the NFL games from yesterday and today? Of course,
What's that background noise? We got to get that figured out.
I hear a lot of background noise.
Yeah, there's something coming. It may be a TV or something. I don't know.
Well, I got mine on mute.
I got my TV on mute.
Okay, it's probably just delayed audio.
When you look at the NFL games from yesterday and today, there were some good ones. Of course, there's a great one going on right now between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Cleveland is currently up 28-0. My TV shows about 12 seconds to go in the first quarter, which means the first quarter is over with. When you look at these games, John, give me a surprising team and give me a team that kind of disappointed you a little bit.
Well, I'll do my disappointment first. I'm gonna go ahead and do Seattle, just because the Russell Wilson that we thought could be in the MVP race did not show up at all again yesterday at all. Him and DK went off on each other, looked like a few times. Yeah, Russell Wilson throwing his interceptions again. Like we talked about Friday night, Wes. You know, he's going to throw like 1 or 2 a game like he always has done lately. That was my disappointment with Seattle. And I got to give Indianapolis a lot of credit on offense. I thought they would probably not score as many points as they did against Buffalo's defense. But scoring 24 going into Buffalo, with Buffalo actually having fans in that game, it just shows Jonathan Taylor and Phillip Rivers. Hopefully Phillip Rivers comes back for at least one more year in the Indianapolis uniform before he does retire. But Indianapolis scoring 24 points was pretty good going into Buffalo.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Well, the biggest surprise for me is happening right now. The Cleveland Browns are thrashing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it is beautiful. They're down 9 players and their head coach. They're on the road. I know there's not fans there, but they are on the road beating supposedly the second or third best team in the AFC. I know the Steelers were suspect all year, but they have a dang good defense. But the Browns are just thrashing them. It's 28-0 at the end of the first quarter. Like that what? That doesn't happen in the NFL. They're on pace to score over 100 points. Now that's not going to happen, but that'd be awesome. The biggest upset of the week was definitely the Titans. I expected Derrick Henry to come in rushing for over 2,000 yards, just hot. I expected them to be able to run the ball. A.J. Brown had a good game himself. Corey Davis was nowhere to be found. Ryan Tannehill made terrible mistakes. But the biggest disappointment as far as the Titans was Mike Vrabel. Not going for it on 4th and 2 on your opponent's 40-yard line. You're in the fourth quarter. You're down, 4? You need points, and you have Derrick freaking Henry, who I know he struggled today, but he's going to get you 2 yards on a carry. They're not going to stuff him. That dude's huge.
Well, 32, you throw the football. Run the ball on 32, I believe. Yeah,
that as well. But yeah, that's the biggest disappointment of the week for me is the Titans. Like, they stunk today. And I want to say I feel bad for my Titans friends, but you know what? Once you get a couple Super Bowls under your belt, partner, I got 3 of them in my lifetime. Y'all should come holler at me now, you heard? Because the Titans ain't nothing like the Denver Broncos. Go Broncos, baby.
Love it.
All right, go ahead, Raymond.
All right, so the biggest surprise to me right now is happening right now with the Cleveland Browns. I expected them with six or 9 people down and all that, and Ben just spiked the ball. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the Browns. Oh my gosh. Started out with the fumble touchdown, and then it went all downhill from there. And
I'm on a commercial right now, Raymond. I'm not seeing that, but go ahead.
Yeah. You're not missing much.
Oh, never mind. She changed it. Okay, go ahead.
She got her soap on now.
I think my disappointing team is Tennessee because I was expecting Derrick Henry to have a really good game. The Derrick Henry that I came to know and see, rushing for like 200 yards or something like that. But he did not meet expectations in the book in terms of that. And that's why Tennessee's my most disappointing team right now. But most surprising team right now, Cleveland, hands down.
Can I backtrack from what I had to say for a second?
Go ahead.
The other, I know they lost, but the Washington football team was super surprising. Not having your starting quarterback, you put a kid out there who's never started in his, maybe 2 games in his life in the NFL?
Yeah. That
was his second game, I think. Coming from the XFL to play the way Taylor Heineke played, hats off to that kid, man. Like I think Ray said a little bit, he said he saw him play a little bit for Old Dominion, which, he was a good college quarterback, but I saw him play for the Battlehawks a little bit for the brief time the XFL existed this past year. That wasn't the only thing that 2020 killed. But the football team is going to be, they have a bright future with that defense. Antonio Gibson's going to be a star, and I'm very biased because I'm a Memphis fan. But kid in his rookie year had 11 touchdowns. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch them play. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off. I did have to get that in there though, because the Washington football team this year was a good year for them.
Oh no, not a problem. I completely agree. Not to steal who mine are. Welcome to the show, Aaron Smith. Thank you. Yeah. Glad you're with us. Aaron, right now we're just
missed the messages.
Oh, you're good, man. Right now we're just going over our surprising team and our disappointing teams. Excuse me. So far in the NFL playoffs.
Okay, gotcha.
Nathan, you're up You're up next, Nathan. Give us your surprising team and your disappointing team.
All right, my surprising team, and even though they lost, I just want to put this out there. I'm going to have to give it to Indianapolis Colts because I'm going to tell you, I thought it was about to be an upset. I thought they were going to shut the Bills out. I thought it was over and all that, and the Bills were going to lose that game. So I got to give it up for Indianapolis. But I do have another one, and I got to go to the Washington football team. I did not expect them to come in and play the way they did, especially that quarterback, Heineken. Did not expect him to do and play the way he did because, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he even got hurt. He got hurt, and they had to bring in a rookie, and then he come back out. But what impressed me most was I'm trying to think the little the run he made and hit the pylon.
Oh yeah, that was an incredible run by Heineken.
But it reminded me of the what was it? Indiana football, the college football team, Indiana, when they faced who was it? Ohio State, I believe. Was it Penn State?
Yep, it was Penn State because John saw it before I did. That's when the whole nation realized that my cable was behind John's.
Yeah,
that was the best day ever.
Yeah, those are the two, surprise for me. I mean, I can't even say, who disappointed me more than Seattle. Russell Wilson, DK getting into it. Russell just he wasn't even playing. I'm gonna be honest with you, he sucked.
Russell Wilson was thinking of Sierra on the sideline too much.
But what shocked me about that game though, what shocked me is the what was it when the Rams? What was that quarterback? Wolf, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he got hit. Yeah, when he got hit and everything, I was like, I thought it was going to be some kind of penalty because of the way he got hit. But I mean, when they didn't even call it, I'm like, oh great, here comes Jared Goff.
Oh boy,
his surgery and everything. So, but the fact that Seattle couldn't beat them and Russell just was playing sloppy and DK was getting pissed. I mean, all you had to do was stop. I mean, hell, you didn't even have to stop anybody really, because I mean, Seattle was playing like crap the whole game. Yeah. So anybody that picked Seattle to go for, I hate to tell you, that's a bad pick.
That's my most disappointing game too. I just expected, Russell Wilson to play good, and I didn't think the Rams had it in them to win. But
yeah,
hey, they got it done.
I'm disappointed right now. I'm kind of disappointed in the Steelers right now.
Yeah,
this is awful. You come in at the beginning of the season, you're supposed to be the big team this year, and then you playing like this. I mean, so those are my picks, man. I can't wait to see what next week holds.
I think you got to go with the biggest disappointment right now, even though the game's not over, is Pittsburgh for me. Man, I mean, I knew watching them this year, like even when they were 11-0, they just didn't seem like a very, strong team. I mean, I don't know. I know that's hard to say that when they were 11-0, but I just watched some of their games and they didn't seem like a team like that should be 11-0. And, they played kind of bad late in the year. And now we're seeing kind of them get exposed in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows that Pittsburgh and Tennessee's offensive line is not good. Well, I'm not saying not good up for Tennessee. I meant Pittsburgh is dead last in the rushing department this year in general. But Tennessee's offensive line today as well, no show at all.
Yeah.
None at all. Aaron, what's your disappointing team and your most impressive team? And then I'll give mine.
Yeah. So for me, the most disappointing team I would say would be right now the Steelers. Oh my goodness. They're doing horrible right now. The Browns are kicking their butts 28-0. So I would say the Steelers right now. But the most impressive team, I had to pick Washington. Like that quarterback, I never heard of him. Like Ray over here had to tell me his name. Like I never even heard of this guy. And all of a sudden he's over here running around. He's faster than Russell Wilson for all I know. You know, it's like this guy is all over the place. And so yeah, I would have to pick Washington. Even though they did lose, it was a great primetime game. And it was very fun to watch, and they worked at it. Like I want to see more games like that in the college football playoffs. Like I want excitement, you know, and good competition, which is what I think we'll get tomorrow.
You know, also, Wes, you know, looking at New Orleans Saints defense, I know the Bears offense have been up and down all year long, but hey, the Saints holding Chicago to 3 points until the final play of the game. You got to give New Orleans defense to Mario Davis and all them a lot of credit as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most definitely. I think right now, I've got two disappointing teams, and I really want to say a team. Well, yeah, team because you win as a lead team and lose as a team. The Tennessee Titans today, just that whole performance. If you're the defense, you've got to stop a team on third down. John and I have been talking about that since our very first episode back in September. Third down conversions in football are very, very, very important. And you either got to stop it on defense or you got to convert it on offense, as we know. But if you look at the Titans today, what did that have? 51 yards total rushing for a team.
Something like that, yeah.
Derrick Henry was stuck at I think right at around 40, 41 yards. It's just very surprising to me. And don't get me wrong, I think Baltimore's a good football team. Yes, I picked the Titans to win, but Baltimore proved today I saw a different Lamar Jackson on that field than I saw the past few weeks anyway. Lamar Jackson was a man on a mission today. He wanted that win. You could tell in his post-game press conference for sure. But I think you got to look at the Steelers. Coming into this game, the Steelers were 10-1 all time in the playoffs against a divisional team. And right now, Cleveland is absolutely spanking them on this football field. It's actually, I picked Cleveland, so I'm happy that it's happening that way. But as you move forward and look into next week, looks like Cleveland will be traveling. If Cleveland does finish it out, they'll be going to Kansas City, and Baltimore is heading up to Buffalo. On the AFC side of it, John, what do you think is going to take place next week?
No predictions yet until Friday.
No predictions,
but
yet. All right. On the NFC side, so Washington, I think, showed a lot of heart.
Where's Wes' beard?
Message there, and that's funny.
I love how he worded it like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, where did it go? That's hilarious. Like I woke up and it was gone. Sorry, that was just real.
Reshaved up in the middle of the night. That's all.
Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night and shaved it off, Aaron. Aaron just sent a message that says, "Where's Wes's beard?" That's just funny. All right, so when you look at the an intruder came in and shaved me. When you look at the Washington Redskins, Heineke, I think did an amazing job as quarterback.
Football team, Wes.
What? Oh, sorry. The football team, not the Washington Redskins. Sorry.
2 days
I
in
don't
a
know why
row.
I keep doing that.
2 days in a row.
I know it's 2 days in a row.
We're gonna get taken off the air.
All people, PC people
We're
out
going
there
to get taken
didn't
off
say
the
Redskins.
air for that.
We probably are. And I apologize. But if you look at the Washington football team, which is obviously what they are, I think they played pretty well today. I think it was an impressive performance. Heineke played really well. Man, Chase Young is just a freaking monster.
Oh, yes.
That guy's so much fun to watch on the defensive line. I think that moving forward in the next season, of course, with Antonio Gibson, Alex Smith,
If he comes back.
Washington's going to be a thing to look out for. In probably the worst, well, it's not probably, it is. That's the worst division in the NFL right there.
When the Cowboys get Dak back, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
The Cowboys would have won it this year with that.
When the Cowboys get Dak back, It's
Yes, we could.
when the Cowboys get Dak back, it's not going to be close. Thank you.
No, I agree. Like, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I also know if Dak would have been the quarterback this year, he's good enough to win them at least 2 or 3 more games. You know,
easily.
I'm not saying they would have been. I'm not saying they would have done anything in the playoffs, but they may have. You know,
Brandon, how much is Prescott worth to you? If you're a Cowboys fan,
How much is Dak?
yeah. How much? If you're a Cowboys fan,
he's worth it, man.
How much is
He's
Prescott
As a
worth?
Cowboys fan, I think the dude deserves whatever they pay him, but I don't think any quarterback in the NFL besides Patrick Mahomes is worth over $40 million.
no.
Or
Yeah, I
Aaron
agree.
Rodgers.
I don't know. I mean,
Y'all missed it. He's
I
been
don't
getting
know. I mean,
lit.
I think when you look at Dak Prescott and you look at Tony Romo's success in Dallas, and then you look at Dak Prescott's success.
I'm sorry, guys.
Dak may be
It's okay. I
worth-
just saw it. It's okay.
I think Dak may be worth that type of money. And I know as 2 Eagles fans in the room, y'all are probably going to say no. But y'all have y'all's own.
Hey,
quarterback
they've got
issue
their
right
own
now.
issues at quarterback right now.
Yeah, trust me,
Yeah,
they
we
got
do.
their own issue going on. But
Hey,
No, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is the future, bro.
He's
yeah,
going to buy
Whatever Eagles fan I knew it said.
yeah, you agree with me? Bye, Carson. Bye, Carson.
Bye, Carson.
But see, here's
Nice
the
knowing
thing.
you.
Send them over here. Send them over here. Send them on to my Broncos. We need quarterback. Drew Lock ain't anything.
You don't have a decent
Wes,
coach. What are
and
you
that
talking
thing you
about?
sent me earlier, or tagged me on Facebook, like Doug Peterson might be out the door too.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with Carson Wentz. If you let him go this year, you've got to pay the man, I think it's $59 million. If you let him go next year, you've got to pay him $29. I mean, is it really worth? I mean, 50, that's a lot of money. And then you've got to turn around and sign you probably got to sign another quarterback, I would guess. I mean, I don't know who else you got on your roster besides Carson, can't play a season, Wentz, and Jalen Hurts?
Oh, we do have Nate Sutterfield, our 3rd string.
Oh, okay. Did not realize you had him.
I think it's
okay.
time for Mason. I think it's time for Mason Rudolph in Pittsburgh.
Bro, Doug Peterson put him in to realize that they had him. Make everybody realize that they had a 3rd quarterback.
Yeah, I think Doug had to do that.
When you look at the Eagles, Raymond, since you and Aaron are big Eagles fans, when you look at the
I didn't know
Eagles,
you were an Eagles fan.
who?
Hey.
Aaron and Ray.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, Aaron and Ray, my bad. When you look at the Eagles, this division's not good. I mean, we're gonna call it like it is. We all know that. But when you look at the Eagles, they've got some pieces. Miles Sanders is a big threat. Fulgham at wide receiver, just to name a few. On the defensive side of the ball, you've got some really good players.
But do those players?
Is
Some of their veterans, though, like from that Super Bowl team, I heard it's probably gonna. This may have been their last year for some of them.
Yeah, they got some salary cap
but, I mean,
they have to deal with.
Yeah, they definitely got some cap issues. When you look at them as an Eagles fan, would you like to see, just because of the price tag that's on Carson Wentz, I understand that's going to be hard cap-wise, and that's a big penalty. Would you like to see them keep him, or would you like to see them move on?
Well, if it's number one, you have to make sure that you have enough cap space to. Sometimes you have to think a few moves ahead. So by keeping Wentz 1 more year, you may be saving some cap space if you do, because he'll be 1 more year ahead of his contract. So you want to find a middle point there. And I'm a finance guy as well in terms of this. So you want to find a middle part where the break even is. But I don't think the Eagles are there yet with Wentz. And on a financial step.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, I agree. Now my emotions tell me get rid of him now, but then there's all the money and all the cap that we have to think about, and maybe 2 or 3 more years. But even And if that means, we just put him on the bench a little bit, which I know he's not going to like that, but we have to do whatever's best for the team. And
I think Wentz is overrated, but I still think he's a good quarterback. Like I think he could play for. Like he's definitely overrated, but he also can't put all the blame on him, this year. But like I said, he could start for other teams. He's good enough.
Send him to Denver. Send him to my Broncos. We will take him.
Yeah.
If I have a quarterback who can throw to Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton and Noah Fant, I'm happy. Drew Lock, I love him. Career backup. He's going to be a Nathan Peterman backup type guy.
He was a great.
He's not going to throw a bunch of picks like Peterman, but yeah, he's incredible in college. I saw him play against Memphis. He killed Memphis, and I saw him lose to Oklahoma State in the Liberty Bowl. But Denver is the ideal spot for a quarterback who's looking to go elsewhere. Look at the Colts, for instance, when they let Peyton Manning walk. Peyton came into Denver. We have a decent offensive line. We have incredible receivers. We have a very young team. Carson Wentz is still young in his career. You got to think about, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago now, before he tore his ACL, he was an MVP candidate. He was going to win MVP. Then he tore his ACL. If he had not torn his ACL, that's the same year they went and won the Super Bowl. If he had not torn his ACL, I think we'd be having a completely different conversation right now. I don't think Jalen Hurts would be on the Eagles, but I think there's something in that Eagles O-line. I think there's something about Carson Wentz that some of the Eagles players might not like. So they kind of lax themselves when Carson was on the field. I've seen that happen a lot in football.
Yeah, he doesn't really I heard him say that he's kind of like self-absorbed. He doesn't really take any of the blame or nothing.
Yeah, and a lot of quarterbacks have that problem.
But quarterbacks, that's a problem Dak doesn't have. I mean, quarterbacks are supposed to be like leaders, and you don't you don't hear a lot from Carson Wentz like as a vocal. He's not very vocal, and he's not, he just doesn't seem to have that leadership quality yet.
Well, and not to change the subject, but it's a good analogy, a good comparison would be Penny Hardaway right now with the Memphis basketball team. He's still learning as a coach, and in his press conferences and whatnot, he has said certain things as far as not putting the blame on other people, but saying, hey, I don't know if these guys can do it. Instead of like, okay, the head coach is the CEO of a college basketball team. He should take full responsibility. It's the same position as a quarterback in the NFL. He should take sole responsibility for that. And I think Carson Wentz is still growing. The dude's my age, 25, 26. Yeah. I'm still immature myself, but as a younger person, he's still learning. He's learning how to be that leader, how to be that positive influence in the locker room. I think there could just be just a bunch of toxic things going on in that locker room. It might not just be Carson. It might be multiple things behind the scenes that we won't ever know about.
Maybe Peterson has issues with being a leader.
Yeah. And I'd agree with that. But yeah, it's just I don't think there's much accountability in the locker room. It's the same thing with the Houston Texans, for instance. That's why Deshaun Watt's out. And you saw J.J. Watt's post-game press conference, right, where he was like, fans don't pay to come to games to watch us lose. I think it's an accountability issue when it comes to teams struggling in the NFL because these guys are professional football players. They don't make many mistakes. They get paid to do this, and for us to be able to watch and do what we're doing right now, they help us make a living off of them, as far as that, of course, I'm not paid for this, but I enjoy doing this. So if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do this,
Right.
Brandon, Ray, and Nathan, we asked this question the other night. What's the most appeal job to y'all for the NFL coaching ranks right now that coaches got fired at? Like, for example, Jacksonville. And what's the least job that you don't want to go to right now as well for your head coach? Brandon, you can go first.
The most appealing is by far the Los Angeles Chargers.
That's what I said.
Because they have a quarterback of the future. They have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, both great receivers. They have a good running back in Austin Eckler. That team is very, very, very young. I think them letting who was their head coach, Anthony. I know he got fired, but yeah, Anthony Lynn. I think they prematurely let him go. I think next year they had potential to make the playoffs. I think that's the most appealing job in the NFL right now. The least appealing is probably I don't want to say the Jets, but I do.
But it is.
Just because of how I don't think it is. Okay, they lost so many one-possession games this year that could have been easy wins for them. If they had an offense going, they would have. Don't shoot the messenger, but they could have been a playoff team if they flipped some of those one-score games around. I'd say Jacksonville, but they're going to get Trevor Lawrence, which he's going to be exciting to watch. The Texans, with what's going on with Deshaun right now, that's probably the least appealing to me. Because
what about
no
Cincinnati? Joe Burrow.
Their star player.
Forgot about him.
They have Joe Burrow. I'd love to build off of Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon, but yeah, the Texans are looking to trade Deshaun Watson possibly. It's just an absolute fire down there. They have no stars whatsoever besides J.J. Watt, and who's to say J.J. Watt's not going to want out in the offseason? So, yeah, I think the Texans is just a absolute fire.
JJ's not young, is he? I mean, he's pretty old now, isn't he?
What was that?
I mean, he can still play at a high level. I mean,
he's old, but he can still get back there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Heck, he could join his brothers in Pittsburgh.
No,
They need him right now.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. So there was even talk, though, that the guy Deshaun Watson will be trading might be Tua. He might try to do that, where Tua at Texans with the new coach might be pretty exciting. Who knows? But I feel like I put Tua and Deshaun Watson. I know Deshaun Watson's been in the league longer, but I kind of put him in the same category. I feel like you're not really losing anything there, in my opinion. I feel like Tua is a mature quarterback, ready for this, and doesn't matter if he's at Miami or Texans, he's ready for this, and he's going.
Well, if he's not happy there, he does need to go.
Deshaun Watson just had one of the greatest years any quarterback's ever had in the history of the NFL. Trading Tua for Deshaun Watson's not a fair trade unless you're getting 4 first-round picks back from it. Yeah. It's no comparison. Deshaun Watson is an incredible NFL caliber quarterback. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler now. He makes receivers like Kiki QT. Who the hell is that? He makes guys like that like recognizable, But so I don't disagree. I think Tua has a bright future ahead of him. I just don't think he's a Deshaun Watson type guy. Going back on J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which it makes sense. Miami making a trade for that. Miami looked good this year, But J.J. Watt's only 31. He's not that old. So if he wants out, the Texans could absolutely be like, all right, cool, we'll send you somewhere, and they could get some first-round picks back for it. So, yeah, that Tua trade could be a good thing for them. They get picks back with Tua, and then if they wanted to trade J.J. Watt to Pittsburgh or somewhere that needs a defensive lineman, that'd be awesome.
Right.
But, yeah, the Texans are...
Yes. So, the most appealing job for me as a head coaching position is going to Jacksonville because of the fact that we kind of like 9 times out of 10 think that they're going to get Trevor Lawrence #1 in the upcoming draft. So that's a quarterback they can build around. But the least appealing to me is a tie between the Jets and the Texans because of the situation with Deshaun Watson and with the Jets, being the fact that if they were to flip those one possession games, they would be in the playoffs and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I think they both need rebuilding, but they are, I believe, they are least appealing because of the fact that you're also going to be potentially giving up some draft picks as well,
And they share a stadium with the Giants.
And yeah, that too, and also with me, I think 2 years ahead. What will be 2 years from now, and try to build a team around one person.
Let me ask you this, Ray. When it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, with you and Aaron being in that area, I tagged Aaron in a post earlier that said that Doug Peterson may very well be on the way out. As both Philadelphia Eagle fans, let me ask you this: who would y'all like to see as his replacement?
Aaron should go first.
Oh man. Well, I mean, if I'm just picking any coach out of anything, I'll say Urban Meyer, come on over.
No,
But-
okay.
Wait a
All
minute.
right. Realistically, who would you like to see them hire?
Realistically.
He was Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
How about this? I'm all about coordinators working their way up. I want the offensive coordinator for the Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, that's a pretty fine assessment, Aaron. Well, for me, there's got to be some more research done on that because of the fact that they may hire within, or they may go out to other teams as well. So there's a lot of factors into that. But as for me, if I were to get a head coach right now, assuming that Doug Peterson gets his duties relieved, I would go with an offensive coordinator who has some NFL experience, but even a college coach, but can bring a team to the very next level. And Urban Meyer, I would, as much as I liked him in the past, that would not be my top choice because he has other offers still in the offing. But the Eagles have a lot of people to work with in terms of that. So it's going to be interesting the next few months.
Gus Malzahn.
Gus Malzahn over my head.
Andy Reid's coming back to the Eagles, guys.
For Chad Morris.
Over my head.
Can I say something about college coaches in the NFL? They're not successful. Urban Meyer's not going to be a good NFL coach. Nick Saban was not a good NFL coach.
Yeah.
What about Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll jumped into a good situation in Seattle.
Okay.
At the time.
And he's learned, and he's also old as dirt, and he's learned how to adapt to the NFL situation. He's the only one who's been successful. I look at Urban Meyer the same way I'd look at Nick Saban if Nick Saban went to the NFL. Good luck, bud. Not really working. Cliff Kingsbury out there. First of all, how does a guy get fired from a school and then pick up a head coaching job in the NFL?
Yeah, that is pretty.
Like Cliff Kingsbury. That's weird to me. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's a good offensive mind, but Patrick Mahomes. He said Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I said if you're the
But
coach of Patrick
and then you look over at Carolina and Matt Rule.
Yeah, that's.
But what did Matt Rule do to get in the NFL? Matt Rule got his butt kicked by Memphis when he coached at Temple. Like the Baylor. Yeah, but Baylor, like, with the late 2000s years, they were always decent. They had good recruiting classes. Art Briles got in that big old scandal, and Baylor just kind of fell off, but they still, like, I don't care what you say. Any Power 5 school still has athletes.
Oh, yeah.
Do what?
Yeah.
What was you saying?
Well, it's like Baylor fell apart. Remember, you got to remember when Art Briles got fired, they fell apart. Players left. They got in trouble. They were done.
The Steelers just scored.
And then Matt Rule rolls up in there. Can't even win a game. He loses to an FCS school that's never beaten any
Liberty.
FBS school. And then all of a sudden you're like, is this guy a joke? And then 2 years later, he's taking them to the Big 12 championship. That's
I remember when
deserving
Liberty
of an NFL job in my eyes. You know, you do that quick of a flip because they went back to what they were in the early 2000s. Dirt.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know I'm biased. But if you throw Memphis in the Big 12, they're in the Big 12 championship. Like, there's no good Big 12 schools other than Oklahoma. In my opinion.
I think if you throw Memphis in the Big 12, we're in competition for the championship every year with them.
Yes.
Or at least.
Completely agree.
Nathan, who's yours, by the way?
But keep in mind, this is the same Baylor team I was talking about that couldn't win a game in the Big 12 we're talking about. And then they turn it around in the Big 12. So there's also that in hand too, you know.
All right. Well, mine. All right. The most appealing. I'll go with the Chargers, and I'll even say the Jags, mainly because it's like Brandon said. You got the Chargers. You got Justin Herbert, a good quarterback, future Super Bowl quarterback, in my point.
Yeah.
And you got him to build off of, and then with Jacksonville, you're bringing in Trevor Lawrence. Because everybody knows Jacksonville's going to get Trevor Lawrence. If they don't get him, I'll be shocked. But the whole rumor about Justin Fields
hasn't declared yet.
Hasn't declared yet, but they said if he does declare that the Patriots will end up with Justin Fields.
Or the Jets.
Yeah, or the Jets. But I figured I think the Jets will take Zach Wilson, to be honest with you. I think that's who they're going to go for. If they can't get Trevor Lawrence, I think they're going to go after Zach Wilson.
So I read a lot of – sorry. I'll say it in a second.
But the one I just have no faith in, and I don't think any coach is just dying to go, is the Jets, dude. Mm-hmm. They just – the Jets are now considered and don't get me wrong, don't hate me for this, but the Jets are considered the Browns. Oh, the team just it ain't winning. So they're the new Browns.
Browns are winning right now.
The Browns are winning right now. And this is what I like. But I'm talking about the Jets, for instance. They're falling apart left and right. You got the Texans. Nobody wants to play for the Texans right now. Everybody's wanting to leave. I mean, it's a fall apart season for the two football teams right now. And that's my input. Go ahead, Braden. Whoever you.
So I read a lot of like ESPN Plus stuff. Todd McShay put his mock draft out a couple days ago, and his best friend is the GM of the Jets. He has them taking Penei Sewell from Oregon. And Todd McShay usually doesn't miss on this stuff. I think the Jets are going to give Sam Darnold another year. He ended the year on a pretty good note. They won that game. So the associations, like the teams tank. The players do not tank. The players want to win. You could clearly see that out of the Jets. They wanted to win every game that they played in because these guys are paid to win football games.
Well, that reminds me of Jalen Hurts whenever he got pulled. He was clearly upset.
Exactly. So I think it's, as far as coaches and GMs, everybody like that, I think those guys are the ones that make the decision to tank. But so like Zach Wilson to the Jets would make sense, but I just don't think they're giving up on Sam Darnold yet. You don't give up on the number 1 pick 2 years or number 2 pick, whatever he was, in his 3rd year in the NFL. I mean, some guys like Peyton Manning was terrible his rookie year. Yes, he set the rookie touchdown record, but he also had more interceptions than anybody in NFL history. And look at Baker Mayfield now. Baker Mayfield had a great rookie year, a terrible, terrible second season, and now he's beating the crap out of the Steelers in the playoffs. Who would have ever saw that coming, especially for an undersized I hate the term undersized when it comes to a quarterback. If you can throw the football, then you can play quarterback. It doesn't matter what your size is. I don't care if you can't see over the offensive line. If you can see a receiver wide open down the field and get the ball to him, you're fine in my book.
Well, look at Kyler Murray. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same way. Like those guys are fast enough and they're skilled enough to make plays. That's all you have to do in the NFL. You make a play. But I do think like I said about the Todd McShay thing, I think Justin Fields fits better with the Patriots than he would at the Jets. And like I said, if I'm a Jets fan, I'm not. But if I were a Jets fan, I wouldn't want to give up on Sam Darnold yet. Sam Darnold was, 20 when he got drafted? He was very young. Mm-hmm. He's still very young. And he's learning every day. Now, if they want to trade him, send him on over. That's all I'm saying. Send him over to Denver because I need a quarterback. I know we're not going to draft one this year, but I need one.
You need offensive line also.
No, our O-line's okay if we can get our right tackle back because Garrett Bowles got screwed out of the Pro Bowl, man. He should have made it. And we gave him that extension, which I'm excited about. But our interior O-line's okay because Dalton Reiser's really good, but Lloyd Cushenberry's a rookie. But, the Broncos don't have many problems. I think their problem is quarterback.
And a head coach.
Well, Fangio's just an old dude who
Brandon,
has.
How do you feel about Nick Foles?
Was it Aaron?
I was wondering, just you as an individual. I don't know if it will happen, but Nick Foles is just chilling on a bench right now, and I feel like he's good enough to start somewhere. How do you feel about Nick Foles going to Broncos?
You know who else is chilling on a bench right now? Ryan Fitzpatrick. Sending him on over.
Yeah.
I don't hate Nick Foles. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, but I saw Nick Foles play for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know how bad he is and how inconsistent he is. He's also sitting on a bench with the Bears. You let Mitchell Trubisky, the worst starting quarterback in the NFL, take your job away from you after you took it from him. Also, Anthony Miller getting thrown out today was complete garbage.
By the way.
I will say that.
I must have missed that part.
That's awesome.
Nick Foles. Yeah. He was on the plane. She's a flight attendant, and he was on the plane when they met.
Oh, wow.
Very cool. Speaking of college football, we were just talking about Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, all of them. Supposedly, there's a big game tomorrow night between a team.
Hey, Wes, this got canceled. No, kidding.
They all have COVID.
No, John.
There's a big game tomorrow night between a team that nobody really likes.
Stop for a second.
It's a big game between the team that everybody likes and a team that nobody really liked going into the playoffs. That would be the Alabama Crimson Tide, ranked number 1 in the country, undefeated SEC champions. Probably one of the most on all 3 levels of football, offense, defense, special teams. Probably one of the most complete teams I think I've seen in my lifetime. Going against the team that last week I think surprised everybody. Not just in beating Clemson, but how they beat Clemson and how they made them look like I don't want to say a mediocre team, but not a great football team in Ohio State. being led by Justin Fields. Trey Sermon has been just running his tail off the last 3-4 games. We're getting ready to break it all down. I know Ray is a big Alabama fan. I know Nathan is a big Alabama fan as well. So let's talk about Ohio State first. When you look at Ohio State and look at, let me start with their game plan on how to beat Alabama. John, we will go around the room. I'll announce the name. I'm so glad he muted that because that was going to be so loud. We're gonna go around the room. I will announce the name and then you'll answer the question if that makes any sense. So, John,
does Brendan have his shirt on? First of all,
yes, he does. All right, so John, what would you say is the strategy for Ohio State to win the national championship tomorrow night?
The strategy would probably be mix it up like you did against Clemson. Run the ball well, and then throw the ball downfield when you have the chance and get the receivers down the field a little bit. Like Justin Fields, I think, was like 200 yards passing, 20 yards or more against Clemson's defense. So that is the key. And third down conversion, like we talked about as well, and keep Alabama's offense off the field. I know the time of possession, I think, will be coming down to the wire in this one for the time of possession of the game. If Ohio State's smart, their offense would probably need to be at least averaging about 6 minutes of drive to keep Alabama's offense off the field.
6 minutes of drive.
To keep Alabama's offense off the field. Just like Navy back in the,
Yeah. I agree. Aaron, we'll go to you next. What would you say Ohio State and Ryan Day's strategy needs to be to knock off the Crimson Tide tomorrow night?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, Ryan Day just has to do exactly what Nick Saban does. He has to make sure every individual out there on that field knows exactly what they're doing and is ready to do their job correctly. And that's why Nick Saban has been so successful. So he has to do that for one. But that's why I feel like it's going to be such a great game, because I feel like when we watch this game and when we watch this field, every single one of those people that you see, 22 of them on that field, will know exactly where they'll need to be, what they'll need to do, and it's all about who's going to make the first mistake is going to win this game. Who's not going to know where they're supposed to be. That's going to determine who's going to win or lose this game. Ohio State has to play not a near perfect, but a perfect game. They have to be perfect. None of this dropping a pass. If you're open, you better catch that ball. If you have a open field tackle, you better hit them and you better make sure they drop to the ground. You best make sure Devontae Smith doesn't get behind you and Waddle, because I think he's coming back this game. I mean, it is going to be a near miracle in my opinion. I'm a huge SEC fan, but this Bama team is just incredible. Don't get me wrong, Ohio State is incredible too because of what they did to Clemson. I can't discredit that. But Ryan Day literally has to, because also here's the other thing. Ryan Day has a lot more film to study than Nick Saban does. You got a 12 or 11 game, or did they play 12 games now? Is this their 13th game?
Yes.
Also, the wear and tear of a full season isn't going to be on Ohio State.
Yeah. Oh, no, they're going to be fresh. I just know, like, I know in my heart, like, most of these SEC teams are good. I mean, Notre Dame is obviously good. They went to the playoff. I know in my heart, Alabama is just a different animal. And I know Ohio State had some special juice in the playoff and destroyed Clemson, but we can't forget about the barely beating Indiana and all these other teams and Northwestern, and which those teams are good too. But honestly, we just proved it. A mediocre Ole Miss team can be a good Big Ten Indiana team. And so I think it's going to be an absolutely incredible game to watch. I think the last game that was this good was that Texas USC game in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. Just incredible teams. Ryan Day has even proved himself as a coach. I mean, they have to be perfect. They have to be absolutely perfect. No missing tackles. No
Not
dropping
against Devontae
passes.
Smith. If you miss a tackle on him,
Bye-bye.
And you best. I think Justin Fields would be better off. Hopefully, they can protect him where he can chill in the pocket, because the more he runs, the more he's going to get whacked. And that defense at Alabama can whack people.
see, I'm an SEC guy, and I do think the SEC is the best conference. But man, Ohio State showed me something against Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect this to be a good game. I really do. I know Alabama will not be overlooking Ohio State with Saban as the coach. So we don't have to worry about that. But I can see a lot of points being put up. Alabama's defense is not the typical Alabama defense. They're going to give up points.
See, I'm thinking we'll see a fourth quarter mistake, and whoever makes that fourth quarter mistake, even if it's a fumble, a dropped pass, anything, that team is going to lose.
See, the way I look at it, go ahead, Wes.
I was just going to say, I've been saying it for the past 6-7 years with Alabama. Any team that plays them, you can't make a mistake. You can't give them that extra possession, because they make you pay for it just about every time. When you look at Alabama, what I think is the key to victory against them is forcing them to make a mistake, which is unlike Alabama, which is something that Nick Saban's teams typically do not do. When you look at just their game against Notre Dame, obviously Alabama walked away what I think fairly easily in that win. But I think Ohio State is going to be a different challenge for them. The talent, I don't want to say that Notre Dame's not talented, because they are. The speed that Ohio State has, both on offense and defense, is next level. They are really, really, really fast. Not taking anything from Alabama, because I know they are too. But if you look at it on the defensive side of the ball, if you're Nick Saban, you're worried. He's got to be somewhat worried because of their speed on the outside, and you're a little bit suspect in the secondary level of your defense. And
I think he froze.
Oh no, yeah, he froze.
Yeah.
But just like though, you can't make a mistake. Either team though. I see the team as equals right now, and you can't make a mistake. And the second you do, the other team's going to make you pay. I think it's key for Justin Fields. Can't be doing. He's hurt. Let's just say it. That guy is sore, so he can't be doing that running around. He's one. I'm not saying Alabama's going to target him in the ribs, but he's one.
But they might.
He's one shoulder tackle away from this game being a blowout, because I think Justin Fields is out of that game. It's done.
Well, here's my thing, and any Alabama fan knows this. We played Ohio State before. This ain't the first time. When we played Ohio State the first time, we played them with a backup quarterback. They had a backup quarterback come in. And that backup quarterback destroyed us.
Yeah.
And if you want to look at somebody, if if Ryan Day's got to look at somebody, he's got to look at Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. They put Alabama to the test. That game was so close. I mean, it could go either way, and it was a mistake made that Alabama countered off of. But the whole thing about it is you got to look at what Ole Miss did. Ole Miss saw the weakness in our defense, and he capitalized on it. He kept running. He put Alabama in a situation to where our defense was getting tired. And so what he did was he kept the offense on the field when he had to, and he capitalized on an open field because our D-backs made a lot of mistakes. Now, not saying that Nick Saban didn't correct them all, because moving after that Ole Miss game, there was a lot of things that we did that he did correct on.
See, that just shows how much football is a game of adjustments, because Arkansas only scored 3 points against Alabama, and Ole Miss, and they beat Ole Miss, and Arkansas beat Ole Miss, who put up like 40-something points against Alabama. So it's really all about adjustments. And
the thing about it, you going into this game, there's trash talk on both sides. But one thing about Ryan Day is I think he needs to learn from Saban.
Definitely.
Don't already say that you're going to beat us, because if anybody's learned anything about Nick Saban, his favorite words, rat poison. But the one thing he loves to do is what Dan Mullen did to us. And Dan Mullen came in saying, "Oh, we're going to beat them. We'll talk to y'all after we go to college football playoff and all this." Don't already say you're going to beat Bama, because that's just fueling that whole team. That's letting them know, like, all right, so we're not good enough to be here yet. We played a full season and y'all played 6, and we're still not good enough for y'all. And that's going to fuel them. And Jalen Waddle will be back. So that puts another person.
Yeah.
Breaking news here first.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
That puts you having to guard Devontae Smith, and anybody that's watched Jalen Waddle play, he's fast.
He could be. I mean, even he might be better than Devontae Smith.
Look,
if you give
at full strength,
Heisman winner.
But the thing is, if you give Waddle, because Waddle's been practicing, he's been at practice his whole week, so he's been preparing himself for it. And if you miss a tackle on Waddle, he's gone. you ain't gonna catch him. He ain't gonna stop him. But what you also got to realize is we have a guy named Mechie. He's Canadian. The man, I think, is a hockey player in his days off because of the hit he made on that Florida guy, on that Florida DB.
Yeah.
So, but you got so many players you got to watch out for. And Ohio State, and I'm not taking anything from Ohio State. They're a good team. I think this is going to be a close game. But the game I would compare this to is not the USC Texas game. It's the Alabama Clemson game when Deshaun Watson drove down the field and threw it to Hunter Winfrey for the win with just seconds.
Yes,
is how close this game is going to be. It's going to be down to the wire. It's going to be a close one, and it's going to be fighting left and right.
Do you think Saban, part of Saban and some Alabama fans wishes they were going to play Clemson instead, just to get some revenge? Or
I think that, as Alabama fans, we always see the Clemson Alabama game. It's always back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
But the one team that we never got revenge on was Ohio State for knocking us out of the playoff. So this right here is a revenge game for us.
That's true.
Because this is a chance for us to redeem ourselves for that game. And you talk about how Ohio State came in and beat Clemson the way they did. A few years back, Alabama came in, faced off against Michigan State. Mm-hmm. And Michigan State was supposed to be the big team then. And Alabama came in and smoked them right out to where everybody threw up their hands and said, why is Michigan State even in the playoff?
Yep.
So, you just got to look at it. It's the college football playoff. It's college football. Anything can happen. But one thing that's going to happen is it's going to be a close, and it's going to be that smash mouth football. It's going to be big hits, big plays, everything. This ain't going to be no NFL where, and I'm sorry to say this about the NFL.
Here's one thing I will say about Ohio State is
if you barely touch Tom Brady.
They do play physical, and they Ohio State kind of reminds me of like an SEC school, like a good SEC school.
And the thing is, but from a source I've read about is that a defensive coordinator for Indiana reached out and to Nick Saban about how to defend Ohio State on their offense.
Oh boy.
And if anybody was able to prove something, it was Indiana. Because I mean, I think we can all agree for this. Hell, I was cheering in Indiana in that game because I was like, "This is impressive right here." I'm not used to seeing Indiana do this, you know.
Yeah, didn't Indiana's DC take the South Alabama job, so you don't have nothing to do.
Yeah. But I mean, the bottom line to this game is you got playmakers on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Alabama's got a healthy defense. Malachi Moore's back, so he'll be out there playing. Christian Harris is good to go. Will Anderson, he's our defensive end. You'll see him.
You think Olave or Sermon, or I think Sermon might have a pretty good game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the type of football game. It's not going to be all passing. It's going to be running the ball. I hope to see Najee Harris leap over somebody again.
Yes.
I love
nice.
that.
But I think you're going to see two quarterbacks come to this game, both Heisman candidates, both NFL-style quarterbacks, and you're going to see two teams. And I honestly think that Steve Sarkisian coming into this game, being his last game as an offense coordinator, he's going to go all out.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see him prove to everybody why Texas wants him as a head coach, is what I believe.
Ray, what concerns you for Ohio State being an Alabama fan?
Okay, so a couple things here. Number one, TOP, time of possession. If we limit Ohio State's offense and time of possession, I'll give more time for the Alabama offense to do its thing with its big three. Jones, dare I say it, the Heisman Trophy winner, Devontae Smith, and Najee Harris, and possibly Waddle as well, but I heard Waddle's a game time, but he's probably going to be in the game. He'll play. I know he'll play. It's just Saban wants to make things interesting right until the point. But anyway, time of possession, limit the Ohio State offense as much as they can so that allows the big three and Waddle to do what they always done all year, make the big plays as they should, and in the fourth quarter, whoever doesn't make the mistake will win.
Well, Brandon, what you got?
Okay, so the over-under is about 75.5, which is very high for a national championship game.
I have a feeling it might go under.
Sure?
I think there'll be a lot of points.
Yeah, there will be a lot of points scored, but I think Alabama will squeak it out at the end with last-minute touchdown.
Let me ask
Brandon, what about you, man?
Yeah. Go ahead, Brandon.
Brandon's got to go.
Okay. So my secret informant just told me that Ohio State has a -% chance to win this game.
Wow.
They're
wow.
Okay. Oh my gosh, Memphis is going nuts. So here's what's going to happen.
Memphis?
You know how yeah, her name is Memphis. She's a 9-week-old chocolate lab.
You don't want to name him.
She's the official mascot of our show.
I love it.
Name her what?
Tennessee?
No, not Evan.
No.
I'll quit the show. I don't live in Tennessee. I live in Memphis.
Kristen, you're a tough fan and a Tennessee fan, not Arkansas player.
All right, go ahead, Brent.
No, so you know how I had my lock of the year a couple months ago when Memphis was playing UCF?
Absolutely. How can we remember that?
My lock of the year.
How can you forget?
My lock of the year. Cancel that lock of the year. My lock of the year is Alabama beating Ohio State by more than 20 It's not even going to be close. It's going to be like the Notre Dame Alabama national championship back when Manti Te'o and his fake girlfriend were playing. It's not. It's going to be a bloodbath. Ohio State is game planning for Najee Harris and Devontae Smith. They don't know if Jalen Waddle's playing or not. And Minchie, he's out of the question when it comes to the game plans and everything. There's no strategy to set up against Nick Saban. You're not going to beat Nick Saban. You're not going to outcoach Nick Saban. You're not going to outsmart him. You're not going to do anything. It's the fact of if his players are going to make mistakes and if they're not going to make mistakes. This team doesn't make mistakes. They make mistakes in one game I've watched them play all year, and that was against Ole Miss. And guess what? They still won that game. Alabama has the single best college football team I've ever seen this year. Last year, LSU had the best quarterback we've ever seen. This year, Alabama has the best team we've ever seen. It's not close. There's no argument. There's NFL talent all over the field. Mac Jones is going to be a first-round pick, and nobody talks about him whatsoever. Mac Jones is a damn good quarterback.
But
Memphis,
he's at Alabama.
Memphis says, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that because Alabama doesn't really have good quarterbacks. Tua is the only decent quarterback that's in the NFL besides A.J. McCarron, who's a career backup, that you can name in the NFL that's ever been successful under Nick Saban.
And we don't know Tua either.
Who are you going to bring up? Jake Coker or... but Tua had a decent rookie year. It wasn't amazing. He didn't start the year.
I know he went to OU his last year, but Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
No, Jalen Hurts is an Oklahoma quarterback.
The last
Jalen Hurts is Oklahoma quarterback.
That was actually good in the NFL is Joe Namath. You got Bart Starr. Those two names are the best quarterbacks that went to the NFL from Alabama.
Yeah.
My secret informant has told me that this score of this game is going to be 45-17. Oh, she's looking at me. Yeah, see? 45-17 Alabama.
Wow.
It's not going to be close. Ohio State doesn't deserve to be on a football field with Alabama.
Are you sure you're not picking the Browns and
the Steelers
game right now?
45-17 Alabama over Ohio State.
Oh, we're live.
I already got it wrote down.
Go back and replay the video.
I know.
Let me ask you this, Nathan, Aaron. Nathan and Ray. Let me ask you this, as an Alabama fan. Let's just call a spade a spade. Nick Saban is not getting any younger. When you look at Alabama, obviously, let's just hypothetically speak here. Nick Saban leaves. Obviously, the first name is going to be Dabo Swinney, I would imagine. But as Alabama fans, who would you like to see relieve a legend? Which, let's be honest, Justin Fuente learned the hard way. It's very difficult to walk in and take over for a legend. Jimbo Fisher also learned that at Florida State. So whoever comes in is going to have extremely high expectations. But who would you like to see slide into that head coaching position at Alabama?
Nathan wants Hugh Freeze,
Nathan,
right?
You go first.
Yeah, thank you.
No. All right, if we're saying anybody besides Dabo Swinney, because that's the pick that every Alabama fan has said is Dabo's coming. Let's say Dabo doesn't. The one person I hope, and I'm an Alabama fan, and I'm going to say it because this man needs it, and we'll pay him the money. Give me Hugh Freeze. Bring Hugh Freeze to Alabama, dude. He is an offensive genius. He knows what he wants to do. And the thing about it, he has beaten Nick Saban.
Dang it, they're going to be good again.
Twice.
So, and
Like
that's
I
the
said,
thing that
Christian, we'll be.
They're just never going to be bad, I guess.
No, they're not,
Well,
man.
well, that and I mean that's the thing though. Like going into this, you know,
I hope Chad
everybody's
Morris
saying
gets the job.
Saban has. Well, they said Saban has 5 more years. They say Saban has 2 more years, 3 more, whatever. Saban said he feels good and he can keep on coaching. So, you know, he might end up being the legendary Penn State coach.
Oh,
man, I
yeah.
can't-
Paterno.
Paterno.
Yeah.
He might be in a wheelchair rolling down the sideline and still cussing out his people.
Well, that's the thing.
You
If
know?
Paterno went that long as a coach, who's to say Saban won't be?
I mean, he's a great college football coach. Yeah, it's like we talked about earlier. He didn't make it good in the NFL, and the NFL told him, the Dolphins said that if you take the job at Alabama, we're not going to offer you the job back. You're not coming back to the NFL, and he's perfectly
said,
fine
okay.
with it. Yeah, Alabama's paying him millions. I mean,
Well,
the
it's hard to
man-
get
the man-
players to listen in the NFL when they're all like making more money than you.
The man's got a
Well,
stadium outside. He's got a statue outside the stadium, and he's still coaching.
well,
Yeah.
the thing is, and there's something else about this championship game. Right now, he is tied up with Paul Bear Bryant with 6. They're tied up 6-6. He wins this, he will
Really?
surpass Paul Bear Bryant.
Wow.
That's a fact.
So, and
Wow.
here's
There was
another
a little
thing.
bit
Here's
of
another
How
thing.
many
that's
has
a
he
little bit
been?
of arrogance over there from you,
But
Ray.
wasn't
I
one
saw
of those
that.
at LSU? One of those was at LSU, right?
Yes, 03 in the 03 season, and
So
then
really 5.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to
Well-
think of it as 5 at Alabama.
But the thing, and the thing, when you look at it, you're being compared to Paul Bear Bryant, which everybody knows how great of a coach he was. A&M, he went to A&M, coached A&M up, came to Alabama, just like what Nick Saban did. When Alabama got Nick Saban, we were struggling, buddy.
yeah, we were.
Mike Shula wasn't doing it for us, and you know all that. And there's talk, and I forgot to mention this earlier. There was talk that the offense coordinator that we were looking at was Mike Shula. Was one of them.
wow.
So
Oh, don't do that.
I don't want to. I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
you
You
might as
better
well
give
just
me.
grab
I want
Houston
Tom
now,
Herman.
won't you?
I'm going to say it right now. Tom Herman needs to come to Alabama right now. They need to go ahead and schedule an interview with that man, give him the money, bring him on over, and all that. Get him ready. But at the end of it all, Nick Saban came in. He rebuilt Alabama. He rebuilt the dynasty. Came back. Everybody hates when Nick Saban says, "Well, I'm back for another year" or anything like that. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. The day that Nick Saban retires is going to be the day the whole SEC, the whole college football is going to be cheering, saying, "Thank God we all have a chance now."
I mean,
But-
it was very similar to when Urban Meyer left.
I'll be very happy
college
when he
football. I
retires.
think- I mean, yes, Christian will be very happy. Ray, what about you, man? Let's
Who
say
does Dre got? Yeah.
Yeah,
let's say King Saban leaves. Who would you want to replace him?
my first pick would be Dabble, but if the Dabble deal goes for whatever reason falls through, then I would look to either Hugh Freeze or Tom Herman, because they are both offensive geniuses, and so Herman being the ex-head coach of Texas, it'll be a good swap for them. Steve Sarkisian would go to Texas, and then Tom Herman, we would bring him in, pay him the money as the offensive coordinator, in the off chance that Saban does, in fact, hang the cleats up.
Let me ask you this, Ray. What about a guy like, and this is gonna probably, and folks, y'all probably gonna laugh, but a guy that I think really impressed me last season in the Alabama-Auburn game. What about Gus Malzahn? He's a very, very offensively, the man's very, very smart. And let's be honest, I think he outcoached Nick Saban last year at the end of that game.
Well, I can't deny Gus Malzahn's work, but as an Alabama guy, if I were to hire Gus Malzahn, that would be a hard hire to make because
Yeah.
of his background with the team
Auburn.
down in the plains.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
That's going to bring a lot of people people in Tuscaloosa are going to have to trust a person who was your in-state rival.
Yeah, that's
way
a good
back
point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
The next head coach, if it's not Dabo Swinney, at the University of Alabama, is Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley will leave Oklahoma to go be the head coach at the University of Alabama.
You know, that's a name that I didn't even think about, but I could definitely see that.
He's a young guy. Alabama will go after him. He's been successful. He's been in the playoffs twice. He's a great recruiter. I think that Lincoln Riley would be a huge statement for Oklahoma as far as, hey, for Alabama, excuse me, saying as far as, hey, we're not going anywhere. Yep. And another name,
Ryan Day.
Ryan Day's not going to leave Ohio State. I don't believe. He's a Big Ten guy through and through. Another name that people aren't really looking at either because he's at his alma mater and he's happy is Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
Kirby Smart was a defensive coordinator at the University of Alabama, won a couple national championships under Nick Saban. I think Kirby Smart is a great fit for the University of Alabama. But Lincoln Riley would be my number one choice if they can't get Dabo Swinney.
Wow.
All right, let me ask you this, Ray. Those two names that Brandon just mentioned, Lincoln Riley and Kirby Smart, as a big Alabama faithful, how would you feel about those two names?
They do have a really good chance, given their history. Kirby Smart was I believe, the first defensive coordinator under Saban. Count me if I'm wrong with this, Nathan. I left, but anyway, Kirby Smart was a defensive coordinator under Saban. I could understand that move, but I would not see the likelihood of hiring Kirby Smart would be low in comparison to the other names. But Lincoln Riley also, he's very young as a coach. He was under Bob Stoops, I believe, for a little bit.
Yeah.
And both are very sensible hires. It's just that they're low on the list due to the other names. They're mentioned, Dabo and Hugh Freeze in particular would be the shopping list, so to speak, for him if Saban were to do the unthinkable.
Actually, Ray just said it. What about Bob Stoops?
Well, Bob Stoops has been out coaching for a while.
He's the owner of the XFL team. He's got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, he's
No,
with the Dallas
I just
team.
if he wanted to get back into the college game, like, would you as a Bama fan, would you take it?
Rumor had it Florida State threw a lot of money at Bob Stoops before they hired Mike Norvell.
I can confirm that Florida State offered the house to Bob Stoops, and he turned it down.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there you go.
You heard it here first.
Maybe he thought too big of a rebuild.
Yeah.
Florida State, and I don't mean to change the subject, but Florida State is the perfect place for a guy like Norvell to go rebuild.
Yeah.
Norvell fits that system down there. I think the ACC is a much easier conference for you to build off of becoming the Memphis coach. I know Fuentes struggled a little bit, but look at his first year. He went to the ACC championship game. I know they lost to Clemson, but the ACC is a much easier conference for you to rebuild a team in. So look at Louisville over the last few years. Louisville was terrible when they first got in. Great with Lamar. Bad again, but this year they were okay. And they're rebuilding over there. So school like that. Clemson, for example. Clemson's been in the ACC forever. When were they relevant before?
They weren't.
So Tommy West was there, and they won a championship. The year before Tommy West was the head coach or something like that.
They were good with Bowden.
Yeah,
Well,
Tommy
even
Bowden
with
was there,
Dabo at
yeah.
first, they were struggling at first.
Dabo went 5-7 his first year as a head coach or something like that, and turned it around in 2 years.
Dabo's Dabo's second year, like there was rumblings of diehard fans wanting him out. Clemson, and then he turned it around.
See, that's the perfect example of being patient right there.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that's exactly what Michigan is trying to do too right now with Jim Harbaugh. Like he's been kind of mediocre. They're going to give him a 5-year second chance and see what he can do with it.
Yeah.
If Harbaugh has a season like he had this year, next year he's gone. Because Michigan's one of those schools that will and can pay that buyout. Doesn't matter how much money they give him.
Oh, yeah.
Nathan, what's up, man? Did you hear my comments?
No, I did not.
Okay, I said that your next head coach. By the way, the Steelers just scored another touchdown, and they're going for 2. Y'all's next head coach is either going to be Lincoln Riley or Kirby Smart.
If Dabo and if
Dabo's not there.
Now let me add this. I talked to my source, okay? And my source,
you got sources?
Yeah, I got one right here in the house. My source, she just informed me the next head coach for Alabama.
Well, hold on. Who is your source? Where's she at?
Well,
it's Nick Saban.
No. My wife has said the next Alabama head football coach is no other than. All right, who'd you say? Kirby Smart.
Have her say it on video.
I tried to get her to say it on video. She said that she's not taking any questions at this moment. She said,
I think Kirby Smart still has to prove some stuff.
All right, well, we're gonna have to pencil her in, since she's a big time source. You know that, right? I think when you look at going back to the Florida State thing with Mike Norvell, and then we'll move on. I think when you look at Mike Norvell in Florida State and the big weekend that he had as far as recruiting, it's evident to me that not only the fan base but the players are starting to buy in, and he's starting to get a culture change there, which is the hardest thing to do, is change a culture. Florida State is going to be a team to be reckoned with. I think Clemson better look out, because I think, this is my opinion, within the next 2 to 3 years, they'll be right there neck and neck with Clemson. I think just the talent pool alone in the state of Florida, Mike Norvell will be able to pull talent.
So who did your wife say, Nathan? Kirby Smart?
Because she said that that'll be the next coach. She said that Kirby Smart, when he faced Nick in the championship game, he made too many mistakes because he put Justin Fields in on that one play. He tried to do the same thing twice. Instead of kicking the ball, he ran the ball. And they did it again. And that was a mistake because they already knew they were going to do that.
Guys, when you look at tomorrow night,
she's a Tiger fan, alumni, so she believes that Tigers.
Go Tigers!
Go Tigers!
When you look at tomorrow night, fellas,
We got a good football team down here in Great State, Louisiana. Go Tigers!
Holy crap!
he's good.
That sounded
good. Holy cow!
No, the Ed Ogeron
when you look tomorrow night, obviously we're very excited for the national championship game. I think this game is going to be one of the best that we've seen. I really hope that we don't get all this hype and then it's a blowout. That's gonna kind of hurt my heart.
Yes.
But when you look at this national championship game, I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be a battle, and I agree with what everybody has said. It's going to come down to who makes that mistake, whether it's Alabama, which is very unlike them, or if it's Ohio State. But I think that we've done a great job tonight of breaking down NFL games and this national championship game.
Well, who do you got? Let's go, people.
All right, let's get after it. I'll go first. Give me.
We've already checked.
Yeah.
I mean, I've.
Well, you
We've already-
have.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We've already picked, John. I'm not doing this on live again where I pick and then 2 weeks later I pick again and I pick again.
Just go through. We'll go through them.
Hey, Wes, you had Clemson over or Alabama over Clemson. So go ahead.
Okay, well, give me Ohio State to beat Alabama tomorrow night.
Wow.
Brandon.
Wow.
Bloodbath brewing. Manti Te'o's girlfriend won't be there to save the Ohio State Buckeyes. 45-17. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, man.
All right,
Christian, go ahead.
See, I'm going to be rooting for Alabama, I guess if you want to call it that. But the fact that they have Justin Fields makes me, pretty confident in Ohio State's chances. I want to be bold here and say that Ohio State pulls the upset. I don't know why I feel that. I don't want to be right. I want the SEC to win. But I don't want to be right, but I think I will be right.
All right, who you got, man?
Yeah, who you got here?
Okay, so I'm going to speak for both Ray and Nathan, and I pick Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Yeah. All right.
No.
I guess
No,
Ray.
I got Bama on this one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Ray and Nathan
All right,
got
Johnny
Bama.
boy,
I'm
who you
sure.
got, man?
Ray and Nathan both got Bama. I take it, right?
Wait.
yeah.
I got something to say. Folks,
Go ahead,
before I do
Uh-oh.
my pick. See, last time I trusted Wes with a pick, I chose the Jets.
I really didn't think you were gonna bring it up, man. I was thinking.
Out of anybody,
Hey,
out
we
of
all-
anybody,
Hey,
out of
say,
anybody.
Hey, we all picked the Jets, remember?
Yeah, because we all trusted Wes. We
I
all
picked-
trusted Wes to pick the
Ohio
Jets.
State last
Because-
week and they won.
Because no,
Yeah, that
stop, Wes.
defense got
Just
me
stop.
-1 points.
You're not digging me out of this one, Wes. See, Wes told us that he picked the Jets, so everybody was like, "Okay, well, Wes guy knows something, so let's all just pick the Jets." And there was nothing to be picked. Jets freaking got beat. So Wes, I can't trust your picks, man.
Oh goodness.
But I mean, if I'm gonna pick, I mean, I can't pick against my boys. Ain't no way. we fought too hard this whole season, and after last season and all that, no, we want this. The whole team wants it. I mean, this is it right here. This is one of the best offensive Alabama teams that I've seen in a long time. And the defense, yeah, I know it has its holes and mistakes, but I think you're going to see them come out and play in this game.
All right.
Ray.
Go ahead and
Alrighty.
start the nation and pick Ohio State.
All right, so I really believe there's a lot of history at stake here tomorrow night. History that
That everybody chose the Jets.
game changing for college football. Here's how it is. Saban will get his 7th ring as head coach, surpassing Paul Bear Bryant. I can see that. And then number 2, we're going to match a perfect season, just like the 09 squad, the very first national championship team Saban had coached. So I'm going with my boys. Roll Tide.
All
Brandon,
right.
you okay over there?
All right, fellas. Well,
Hey, I
once
got
again-
Bama.
Hold
I'm
on,
just
hold on,
saying,
Wes. Hold on, Wes.
Okay,
So
wait,
my boy
wait.
Ray over here, he's pretty important though too, because he called in to Paul Finebaum twice and had
Oh.
a full-on conversation with him,
Wait, is this the
explaining to
guy?
him about who's going to win Heisman,
Yes, it
and
is.
who's going to win this national championship. So
Oh, wow.
we got a legit fan rolling up in here, SEC fan, Alabama fan, everything.
That's wait a minute, this is the Ray from Paul Flagbaum?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
very cool. Very cool. Well, Ray, anytime you want to be on the 4-Star Sports Show, you let us know. We'll get you back on, man. Not a problem at all.
Sounds great. If you like, I did save a couple of the clips. If y'all like to listen, let me know. I'll text it to you.
We could add him in the group chat.
Yeah.
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 Most definitely
Hey.
do that.
We'll get
Hey,
him on
look.
the group chat.
For future reference, don't trust any of Wes's picks, especially if it's the Jets. Just saying.
I've learned that with my brothers. Come on. I always stick to my gut.
Well, I mean, that was NFL. I'm more of a college guy myself. That was NFL. So,
More like NFL.
yeah. But
You know,
thank
I
you.
guess hey guys, I guess I'll go Bama also. I guess.
Well, John, we knew you
There
were
you
going to
go.
take
Oh,
Bama. We knew you were going to
please.
take Ohio
Don't
State.
listen to Wes. Don't listen to Wes, John.
Hey, can we ask Brendan a question real quick regarding the Broncos?
Oh no.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, great. Let's talk about my sorry football team. What's the question?
I guess you're happy about John Elway's decision last week, right?
Okay. I love John Elway. There's things that the state of Colorado loves, and that's Jesus, marijuana, and John Elway. In that order. But
And the Rockies.
John Elway, nobody cares about the Colorado Rockies. They suck. John Elway,
Hey, they love the Rocky Mountains.
the only thing John Elway's ever done in his life is win 2 Super Bowls because of Terrell Davis. And he brought Peyton Manning in on an airplane and showed him, hey, we have an offensive line. Come join our team. Those are 3 good things. John Elway is the worst general manager in the history of the NFL. In the history of the NFL. I can't stand the way he manages our teams. When we drafted Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler in the first 2 rounds this year, I was going to lose it because I was like, whoa, he's finally come to his senses. The dude can't hire anybody. He doesn't pay attention to people that he drafts. It's just, it's frustrating as a Broncos fan. But yes, he has an elevated role. He has an elevated role now for the Denver Broncos. So he won't be picking the players that are on the team. Thank the Lord. Because that was just, it was a great trial run, Mr. Elway, but you're not good.
You know,
Sorry,
talk about your-
that's my tangent about John Elway.
Before we talk about this going live, but talk about your NFL draft experience in Nashville.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you call yourself a football fan, you can go to the Super Bowl. I'm sure it's awesome. I'm sure the halftime show is spectacular and spectacle. But just being in the crowd at the NFL, it's the only NFL event where every team is represented. It's just it's something magical. It's just like being there in the presence of everybody, seeing the stage, seeing these kids walk out on stage with $1 million contracts, basically. Live out their dream. It's really cool. The experience is awesome. Now, I'm a people person, so I'm very extroverted, so I think people would, like me, enjoy it a little bit more. But if you call yourself a football fan, before you die, you need to go to the NFL draft. It is just so much fun.
Yes, I can agree with you, Brandon. I went to the NFL draft the first day of it when it was in Philly, and we picked Barnett. I remember that day.
Brandon, did you go for all 7 rounds? I forgot.
I was there all 7 rounds.
Oh,
Oh
Lord.
wow.
Oh, God.
I was there the first round only, and I
was talking trash to every fan around me when the Broncos were going up to pick at 10. And then when like 3 seconds left before our pick, the guy comes over the PA system on Broadway. So on Broadway in Nashville, it's set up. It's just a long street. There's a bunch of bars, everything like that. Well, I'm talking trash to every fan around me. My buddy Patrick was with me. And I'm just like, yeah, we're about to draft, blah, 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 blah. And I have a video on my phone, but the guy comes over the PA system and goes, the Broncos have traded the pick. And some random dude had a video of me talking trash. My face froze. I was like, what? And
So
it was hilarious.
We say Nathan.
So Brandon's the
Yes,
Bronco guy everybody's talking about.
I guess.
The guy that was talking.
But it was hilarious. See if I can find the picture real quick.
Sit it in the group.
No, that's not it.
They drafted Drew Lock after that.
But I will.
But yeah, guys.
Yeah, and I was very excited that we drafted Drew Lock at the time.
They're going to make a comeback.
No, Drew Lock
They're about to
will not
score
make a
again.
comeback ever. He'll be a career backup. I don't.
They could.
Oh God, there's
Oh,
the video.
so good.
NFL draft. The Denver Broncos select Noah Fant. That's when we drafted Noah Fant. Here's the video. Here's the video of me. You'll hear it in the background in a second. I'll send it in the group.
Oh, we got time to share. Okay.
Guys, when you look at tomorrow night, it's going to be a lot of fun. When you look at this wild card, 2 triple headers back to back, it's been a lot of fun. The NFL season is at the very end. The college football season is at the very end. So that means that we, as a show, transition into basketball. Now, moving forward, we'll be starting to cover college basketball and also a little bit of the NFL, NBA.
Let's just start crying.
But
What about hockey, Wes? What about hockey, man?
hey, go Blues! I'm a big
Four-star sports show for a reason.
I'm a big hockey fan. Got
We
no
don't
problem.
cover hockey.
Go Preds and go Avalanche.
Go Predators, baby. Go Predators. Let's go. It's all you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, nobody likes Predators. Go Blues. But when you look at this football season, of course, with COVID-19, it's been a blessing to get all the games we have, and it's been a lot of fun on this show during the football season. So we want to go ahead and thank all the fans that have been watching during football season. Keep watching during basketball season. It's going to be just as fun. This show tonight's been a blast. It's like a little Brady Bunch meeting we have every week. It's crazy. But thank you to everybody watching Facebook, YouTube,
The Brady
also
Bunch.
listening on iHeartRadio.
That's the way we became the Brady Bunch.
Ray, thank you very much for being on the show, man. Anytime you want to be on the show, hit us up. We will gladly have you back. Nathan, my brother, thank you again, man. Always a good time. We will be sure to have you back on again. Thank you.
Yeah.